So Overwatch is experimenting with pickable role passives. Think of it like a basic card loadout for paladins or augments in teamfight tactics. But here in Overwatch, each role, so tank, damage, and supports, have 3 selectable passives to gain an extra benefit for their hero. For tanks, you can choose Unyielding, in which debuff durations are reduced by 40%. I'd pick this against Sombras or Ana players to help reduce the effectiveness of Hack, Anti-Nade, or Sleep Dart. Armored is the next one, which converts 100 white health into armor. If the incoming damage is under 20 or less, it's reduced by 50% instead. I'd pick this passive against enemies with low increments of damage like Reaper or Tracer. The last passive is called Last Stand, which gives a 50% cooldown reduction when below 50% HP. My initial thought is that this sounds very good for heroes like Reinhardt, Ramattra, or Sigma, who have an instant defensive tool to kind of buy some time for their accelerated cooldowns. Think of like Reinhardt charging in, and he kind of gets put in a bad spot, and he's kind of low, but he can kind of like sit in a corner with the shield up and then get his charge back up really fast to quickly escape. It rewards an aggressive playstyle with like faster fire strikes or faster charges as long as you don't die, so there's that like risk and reward element. I like it. For the damage heroes, the passives you can choose between are Slayer, which allows you to see critical health enemies through walls. Critical health is any hero below 25% HP and is like a big red blinking indicator to go, go, go for flankers, so I'd use this with like Tracer, Genji, or Sombra. Trigger Happy is the next passive, which increases ammo capacity by 20%. I'll tell you who I wouldn't use this with, which is Hanzo, but I could see heroes like Sojourn, Sombra, and Tracer use this very well to kind of help increase their one-clip potential. The last passive is called Frenzy, where eliminations grant a brief 30% speed boost. This is the old DPS passive from earlier Overwatch 2 seasons, and if you're familiar with that one, you know how good it was with heroes like Tracer and Genji. And finally, for the support heroes, the first passive you can pick is Resourceful, which reduces cooldowns by 20%. So big game-changing abilities like Anti-Nade or Sleep Dart on Ana or Baptiste's Immortality Field sound pretty nice on paper with this one. The next one is Swift Save, which increases healing by 50% for targets below 35% HP, which sounds kind of nice with like a Mercy Pocket. And something I just thought of is the idea of running Resourceful with Ana, then switching to Swift Save when you have Nano Boost, so that instead of Nano Boost healing 250, it now heals 375 instantly, and that can be further comboed with like a prebiotic nade, so you can play make, and then the amplified Swift Save Nano can bring most tanks back to full HP instantly. The last passive is called Close Call, which grants a brief 20% speed boost when below 50% HP, and it sounds fantastic for vulnerable heroes like Zenyatta to fight off a flanker or to quickly run to cover. Now here are some important notes and questions you may have. Number 1, these pickable role passives are part of the Quick Play Hacked event. That's just what they call it, where these pickable passives will be in quick play games only, for 2 days only, July 15th and July 16th. Number 2, you can change your passive anytime you're in the spawn room, exactly like how you would change a hero. So you can swap passives at like the start of a game, start of a new round, walking back to the spawn room, or like while you're respawning and skipping the kill cam. And finally, these standard role passives are actually still active. So yes, tanks have knockback resistance and 25% headshot damage reduction, and DPS heroes have the reduced healing on enemies they've damaged recently, and supports have the quicker self regen along with whatever the hell you picked. Now the devs left some comments and they said that pickable passives looks at whether providing an additional upgrade changes how you approach forming compositions or responding to the enemy team during a match. We're also curious to see how much it puts a dent into overall game clarity. We're excited to see what y'all think. Now I have some initial thoughts, and that is that this sounds really good and is a great way to bridge the gap between some weaker matchups or counters. We all love counter swapping, and can add another layer of strategy to the game by forcing players to adapt their passives. But an issue I see immediately is that since these are standardized passives, that means some of them are literally unclickable depending on the hero you pick. So Hanzo is effectively always down one choice immediately because there's like zero reason to ever take Trigger Happy. So I'd actually like to see Blizzard curate a few hero-specific passives and offer a choice of like your 3 standardized choices and then like 2 more custom-designed ones per hero. Like Hanzo can charge his bow 10% faster, or Cass can increase his fall-off range by 5 meters. I'll update my pinned comment at the bottom with some of my thoughts after actually playing it, and talk more about it on my second channel, the KarQ Archives, which you guys should subscribe to if you haven't, because that's my yapping channel, while this one is generally the more produced and quicker to the point information. Anyways, let me know in the comments what you guys think of this event.